You think you're Batman? You think you could be able to just suppress it and project it? You think you're just that person? You, the Darkest Night? That's what you are, man? Come on, gang. Let's not do that, man. There's always a way forward. You feel me? We're gonna talk about, break it down. Let's get into it. Page 136. You can't deal with your pain. You suppress or project it. The hurt you carries darkens what you see. Page 137. Falling in love with the wrong person and choosing not to love the right person are common situations that are not talked about enough. Cravings, hurt, dense conditioning can confuse the heart. Sometimes it takes years to fully realize that. Page 137. Now page 138. What you see on social media could give you unrealistic expectations of what a healthy relationship should be. You're not going to be the best every day. You will sometimes say the wrong thing. Communication isn't always clear. You won't always agree. Things don't have to be perfect or for the relationship to be profounding, fulfilling. All right, man, let's break down these pages and get to it. So as I was talking about page 136, what it's saying is when you're not able to deal it, you suppress or reject it. And I got certain friends, and I do it sometimes too. Even my mom, I got people in my family do it. They suppress it. They suppress the pain they're going through, or they project it. Sometimes they don't know. I can see it, right? So why am I talking about this? When you carry that hurt, that pain, what it does, it darkens what you see. Meaning, like, when I say Batman is a perfect description, Batman dealt with losing his parents at the age 8. And ever since that, if you see animated videos, you see in movies, he always talk about it, certainly, but he'll say, like, ever since that happened, he was never able to become a kid again because he lost the people he dearly loved. He lost the greatest thing he loved. That's why love is the hardest thing for Batman. That's why Batman helped get these sidekicks, because he understood what they were going through and he didn't want them to become what he was. And that's what people don't clearly understand. He saw them and said, hey, I'm going to train you so you don't become who I was, who I am, so you can become better. And that's the greatest thing of Batman is he gave love to people. And the reason he protected Gotham is because I might be going through the greatest thing in my life, but I'm not going to let people, let these villains or whoever ruin, let them deal with pain or get them hurt. And that's what we're clearly talking about. I mean, clearly or not, but what I'm saying is you can't let that hurt carry you, because it's going to darken what you see. Things goes on. So what I'm trying to say is, if you just try your best to not always suppress what you're going through or project it. Try to find ways to deal with it better. If you can find through art, music, video games, whatever you can find better to deal with your pain, I would do that. But I wouldn't say don't use drugs. I would say use the safest drugs that that won't have a long-term effect to your body, but don't use it as an addiction. If that doesn't work, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't provide that, I would say meditation. I would say going to parks, you know what I'm saying? Going out, go out into nature, walks, hiking, jogging. What else I'm trying to think? Going to the gym could help. Hooping with your homies, spending time with loved ones could help you in the long term. But I wouldn't say drugs could be it. I would say it, but I wouldn't do it, because most of the time people can't stop trying to have addiction with it. If you can have addiction without it, that's wonderful. But if you're gonna have addiction with it, it's not gonna last long for you. And that's what I'm saying is find things that could help you treat what you're dealing with your pain, then suppressing it or holding it or projecting it. That's just not the right moves. You feel me? All it's gonna do is that hurt over time is gonna darken what you see, and you become Batman. It's simply like you and Batman are the same. You understand Batman clearer every day. And that's what we're saying. So don't use drugs. Find ways to deal with it. Don't suppress it or project it, because what it does, it just darkens what you see in this world. So I hope anyone who's going through whatever you're going through, you can find ways to be it. If it's God, thank him. He's good all the time. If it's, Bible, whatever it is, religion, whatever you find good ways to treat what you're going through. I hope that whatever you're going through, I pray for you all. Y'all could get through it. Now, page 137. They saying fall in love with the wrong person and choose not to love the right person. A common situation that are not talked about enough, right? We say cravings or hurt, dancing condition can confuse the heart. So sometimes it takes years to fully realize that. I have fell in love. So I have fell in love with a lot of wrong people. And I choose to, the few times I think I didn't choose the right person. Or maybe it was too late for the person that I liked. And the reason this is not common talked about because I think we always talk about not wrong person. I think right person, wrong time. And that's what it'll always talk about. We're always falling in love with the wrong person. And what that does, it could really take a while for you to understand it. And it took me years to understand that. But why I'm saying it is because what it did was it made me realize, like, wow, maybe if I loved this girl, maybe I wouldn't be who I am today. Maybe I'll be in a better situation. Maybe I'll be fine. Maybe I'll be doing good in life, Maybe. Maybe I wouldn't, be scrolling on TikTok sometimes when it's about love. Maybe I wouldn't listen to certain love songs all the time, Maybe I understand things more, And I fell in love with a lot of wrong people, man. And it took a lot of years off me. Distracted me in my focus, my purpose, my craft. But it's never too late for me. And boy, you're able to lock in when focus on healing myself, focus on, understanding what's going on. So a lot of us are going to deal with that, A lot of us are going to deal with, loving someone you think that is the one, but then it was just your heart saying something that you thought it was connection, you thought it was enough. Deep down it wasn't, And that's what it sucks sometimes, man. Like, I could be talking about this page a long time. Like, I went through a lot of women. Some were great, some weren't. Some were hurt, some weren't hurt. Some were hurt, they was using that hurt in other ways, I had a lot of girls that, some were players, some cheated, some, man, I wouldn't even say the words, man. Some were just doing whatever they wanted to do that they thought it was right, And it's a hard situation, hard topic to talk about, but I can talk about it because who I am now than I was before was different, Like, man, in the past, your boy was back and left and right. I was doing everything, but there's times when I realized it was because of my energy, who I was as a person, You're going to, like, if you're healed, and this is something I'll talk about on my shorts. If you're a healed person, you're going to attract the unhealed. And that's what it was all the time. I wasn't understanding at that time why. But at the same time, I was like, I clearly see it, but you're able to heal people. And if that healing doesn't work or that person don't want to take your healing, you know how it's going to go. And that's what happened most of the time, Or sometimes I didn't take the healing, someone was trying to heal me, But yeah, man, falling in love with the wrong person could waste your time sometimes, but it could give you a lot of lessons how to know who you're looking for, what you need in your life, what you want in a relationship. So I'm not ever going to say it wasn't a blessing in disguise. It was just more of my heart had to realize it, like, she's not the one, gang, And then choosing not to love the right person, man. I let a few one goes, but I looked at it back now. It's like maybe they weren't the right person for me, Maybe some were, some weren't, because personal growth. And if, like, I'm not wrong with people want to focus on their career first, cool, work hard on these 20s. I'm never saying that. But if you're not, we're also just working on everything in your life, not just your career, yourself, your family, your relationships. You're not working on everything. Trying to be a jack of all trades, man. You're just trying to be just one. That person's going for a jack of all trades gonna go further than you, and that's just simple. And that's why sometimes some of them weren't the right person for me, because they didn't have that personal growth. And they say cravings or hurt, destiny, conditioning could confuse the heart. A few times I had crushes, a few times my own hurt, got to me, and sometimes the destiny conditioning messed me up. And it took a while, Now I'm clear with my heart. Now I'm with my heart, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? So that's it for page 137. We got one more page 138. What you see on social media could give you an unrealistic, okay, I'm not even going into it, but don't believe everything you see on the internet. And this generation is so stupid. I'm sorry, I'll say it, I'll be honest, because I'm part of the generation of Gen Z, like the older versions, the people who are old, like around my ages, no. The younger versions, I'm not saying all y'all stupid, but like, let me give you an example. Someone will send something in the group chat, and it ought to be the whole truth of the thing, but they believe that this is what a relationship's supposed to be like. This is what I'm supposed to get love. This is how everything's supposed to be. And the whole time it's not really gonna be. You know what I'm saying? It'll be the whole time it's like, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes podcasts and stuff will say this certain things. Some advice is great, some advice is not great. Some advice, you could tell some advice is not great. You think it's great until you use it, and it's not really great. So what I'm saying is, don't expect that's how a relationship is going to be all the time. Because it's not. You're not going to be the best. You're going to be wrong. Your communication not going to always be clear. And you're not going to agree. But perfection is not how relationships going to be profoundly fulfilling. It's not going to be great. There's no such thing as perfection in this world. There's no such thing as a perfect friendship. There's no such thing as a perfect father and son relationship. Perfect thing of mother and daughter. Whatever relationships in your family, with friends, with teachers, students, whatever the case may be, it's not going to be perfect, and that's fine. Just know that's not how you get a great relationship. A great relationship, a profoundly fulfilling one, is when y'all could clearly understand each other, love each other, dude. When y'all love yourself, before you love each other, you love yourself. You love each other first. When you're not going to be the best sometimes, they're not going to be the best. When y'all can understand that, be there for each other. Support each other's happiness. Understand you're not going to be right in arguments. Sometimes she's not going to be right. Or him, or whatever the case may be. That communication not always going to be great. Communication going to be ugly sometimes. It's going to be nasty. Know that you're not always going to agree sometimes. But that's fine. Not everything going to have to be perfect in a relationship for things to work well. What you see on the internet, sometimes they don't even know what they're talking about. And sometimes they didn't give the person a full chance. Sometimes they just give them their side and not the full, a neutral response. Sometimes it's biased. Sometimes it's not even making sense. So what I'm saying is clearly like, yo, just know that relationship ain't going to be perfect, and that's fine. As long as it's good for you, if both you and your partner are fine in it, and it's providing, fulfilling, then that's all that matters. Who cares what everyone else got to say? What matters is between you and your partner. For real, man. Forget what the internet says. The internet ain't real. The people in your circle ain't real. What's real is you and that person you're building with, that connection, that deeply bond. That's why y'all have kids. That's why y'all are going to be together forever. That's why y'all on y'all 10-year anniversary, whatever, how long y'all been. Because you understand each other and understand that they're not going to be fine all the time. You're not. Things are not going to work all the way. You're going to have, some days y'all going to have bad days. Some days you're going to have good days. Some days you're going to have ugly days. But as long as the relationship is lasting and deeply and y'all trying to build it and have personal growth and stuff, and y'all understand that as long as it's profound and filling and not trying to be perfect, then things are going to be all right, man. And that's simply all I got to say, man. That's all for this. I'm out. As always, man, adios, amigos. Enjoy this wonderful summer, and hasta luego. You feel me? Baby.